Do you want to hear how a young lawn care entrepreneur is being successful in New Jersey? Stay tuned. I'm Frank, and I'm all about helping business owners and entrepreneurs start and grow their lawn care business. Make sure to subscribe, like, and hit the bell button so you're notified of my future videos. What's going on, lawn care pros? So today I have a special guest with me, Troy Bernauer with TJ Lawn and Landscape. And it's really a pleasure having you here, Troy.
Appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
So Troy, let's just dive right in. Tell me a little bit about how you got started in the lawn and landscape business.
I got started, I guess you can say, somewhat of the cliche story of being that young kid with the push mower weed whacker in the neighborhood. But it's also kind of sad. I've heard other guys say something similar where it was something they wanted to do with their dad or something like that. So yeah, long story short, the last promise I ever made to my dad before he had passed was I wanted to do it with him. So that's kind of why it's called TJ Lawn and Landscape, because I'm Troy, he's Jim. And yeah, around, I want to say my senior year in high school, is when I really started to pursue it. So I sold the car that my mom had actually got me at the time. I paid her back for it and told her, hey, listen, I want to sell my car and buy a truck. She did not think it was a good idea until I told her why. She was so gung-ho for it. And basically in the past 6-ish years, grew it from working out of the bed of a truck to now we have 2 trucks. Going to have our second trailer sometime soon. We had 2 at one time. I sold one. But other than that, I got a couple guys under me now, and we're doing pretty good, I guess you can say, for 6 years in business and me 3 years full-time.
That's great. Hey, so you said you've been in business for 6 years, so you're pretty young, right? I mean, you said you started right out of high school?
I'm 23, yes.
Okay, Wayne, that's great. So you got a long journey ahead of you, and that's really a benefit, right? So you can really build this business up to where you want to be.
Oh yeah, I'll say right now, I mean, just getting my taxes back, I'm actually kind of happy where we are now, but there's always room for expansion.
That's awesome. So tell me a little bit about where do you want to be, let's say in like 3 to 5 years, as far as your business goes?
Well, it's always funny when someone asks that, because I feel like if you asked me this question 5 years ago, I feel like we've actually almost exceeded that, right? So yeah, in 3 years from now, I would say I kind of want, at least we're at 2 crews right now, I want to be at least 3 or 4 crews going out, and I want to have our shop by 5 years from now. I know those kind of may seem like smaller goals, but the way I see it, it could be, some people might look at it as good advice, some people might look at it as bad advice. You should always have a whole bunch of smaller goals and that one big goal, because it's those small goals that are easily achievable, that when you achieve the goal, makes you feel happy to keep moving forward to get that big goal. Yeah, so I'd say, in all honesty, 5 years, if we can have the multiple crews, the shop, and you know what, it might be difficult, but I want to start making at least $1 million, you know what I mean? At least $1 million a year.
That's a really good goal to have. And when you first started out, coming out of high school, where did you see yourself, in 6 years? Are you kind of where you expected it to be, or did you really exceed your expectations?
I would say definitely exceeded. I definitely, yeah, back in high school, I guess you can say 5-year goal. I want to say maybe I'm at my 10-year right now. I am at what I thought I'd be in 10 years from high school, but I think my 5-year goal from then was, in all honesty, having, a nice trailer with some mowers, working by myself, but having a good amount of houses under me. And I achieved that in 3 years. I thought that was going to be 5. My 5-year goal was to, have a better heavy-duty truck with an enclosed trailer, multiple mowers, and maybe taking on some more landscape stuff. And we achieved that, I would say, 2 years ago, So we're always, I guess, ahead of the game of what I thought I was able to achieve.
That's great. And what are some of the services that you're providing right now, and are they similar to what you started with, or have you kind of evolved in the business?
I guess I'll start answering that question by saying what we started offering and what we offer now. We started with pretty much just lawns until I realized, that's not where the total money is made, I guess you can say. That I started, I realized my lawn customers wanted me to do cleanups, and I was like, oh, I didn't even know that was a thing. I'm not even gonna lie, I didn't know, that was connected with the lawn service. So I was like, yeah. So I started doing leaf cleanups. I started doing trimming, and it all started with, you make the money off of a couple jobs to justify the purchase of the piece of equipment, and then go from there. So yeah, we started off just lawns, and then we started doing, as far as maintenance goes, everything else. I would say we started landscaping maybe 2-3 years after the fact. It was just straight lawns for the longest time. And the landscaping has only grown tremendously since then, that I remember we would be lucky if we had one landscape job a month. Now I'm trying to find the time to get all the landscape jobs booked within the month. You know what I mean?
Nice.
So it's, we personally, right now, we do not do hardscaping. I'd say that's the only thing we don't offer yet. We pretty much do everything else as far as fertilizers. We're actually working on a pesticide license right now. We have our fertilizer license, not pesticide, because at least in our state, it is different that way. But yeah, pretty much everything but hardscaping at the current moment. I would love to get into it, but the way I see it, we're so booked up with landscaping as it is. Maybe hardscaping next year.
And so when you first started out, you said you were just doing lawns. So you're basically talking about, just mowing lawns, right?
Oh yeah.
And when you were doing that, walk me through how you were getting lawns and how you were actually, doing the production side of it. Did you have a helper? Did you start by yourself? And walk me through how many lawns you started out with, and maybe in your first year and second year and so on.
I don't necessarily remember the exact amount of lawns I had. I did utilize Yard Book. Most people may know what that is. Even back then, I still use it today. So I could go back and find out. But all I know is back then, it was just me working out of the bed of a truck where I had ramps to get my push mowers in and out. And I had multiple push mowers. At times, I would ask my friends if they could help me on jobs. One of my favorite memories of the business to this day is my first year being open. I took on a yard that I thought was just a little bit bigger to push mow than I could do by myself. So every time I had to do that one, it was probably the only yard on a Friday. Because even then, with another guy, it would still take us over an hour with 2 push mowers. And when we got to the backyard, he would start in the far left corner, I'd start in the far right corner on opposite ends, and we'd just meet in the middle, and when we were done, high five,
Nice.
It was a great experience starting out to just go from push mowers to what we have now. But yeah, I think when I started off getting customers was... teachers were actually not allowed to hire students, so it was one of those things like, hey, Troy, come here. I know that you do lawns and everything, and the other teachers can't find out, right? So it was one of those things. We actually have a local Facebook page in our town that people sometimes post, hey, I'm looking for a lawn service, and I post myself there. And it really just grew from there. It does take time. I would say if people are listening and they're trying to get an idea of how to build a business from almost nothing to, a big corporation, you know what I mean? I think one thing that we did this year with our website is when people fill out an inquiry for us to give them an estimate, we have a little thing where they can fill out that says, how did you hear about us? And it's, Google is the big thing. At least now, a lot of our leads are coming in through Google. They see our trucks, word of mouth, Facebook. I didn't have that back then. It was pretty much all word of mouth, or if they saw us on somebody's property, right? At least now it is all Google.
Yeah. So you speak of Google being the one that you get the most leads from. Is that through organic search, or is that through paid advertisement through Google, or a mixture of both?
I do not remember the last time we paid for any advertising. I do know that in the past we have when it comes to... I actually don't think we ever paid for advertising on Google. I know we did on Facebook, and I just didn't see the returns I wanted. But yes, Google is all from organic clicks, where I am fortunate enough that I feel like in my town, not a lot of guys with their businesses actually utilize Google. So I got my business up on Google as quickly as I can, reached out to some of my customers. One thing I actually don't like doing is asking for reviews, but I think once you put your business up and you explain to your customers, hey, we just started utilizing Google to try to promote our business. We know we've done some work for you in the past. We'd very much appreciate it if you took the time out to leave a review. Perfectly fine if not, but if you can, be totally honest, right? And people started leaving reviews. And I guess it was the traction that got us on the front page of Google, where people commonly say, yeah, I Googled lawn service near me, and you guys were the first one to come up.
Yeah, that's really good. I mean, utilizing the Google My Business listing, the GMB, it's really an important part of any business. And it sounds like you're doing a really good job on that. Is there anything specific that you can attribute some of that success to as far as some SEO work on your website, or do you do anything else that you can say, yeah, this is really working out? So if somebody was starting out, they can really concentrate on that.
Yeah, I think if hopefully this answers your question. I feel like one thing that you should probably do starting off is understand not every form of advertisement works for one business as it will for another. It's all kind of the area you live in, the audience you're trying to reach. So yeah, a lot of guys say that they are constantly putting in money into Facebook advertising. I never saw that really take off for us. Sure, you can probably allocate, let's say, $40 for a Facebook thing that, and Facebook all goes off of how far mile-wise you want this advertisement to reach, age range, and how long the ad's going to be up. So yeah, figure if you spend, let's say, $40, $50 for a few miles radius in your town for anywhere between, let's be honest, maybe like 25 is where you want to start, because there might be some young homeowners, up until 95, or if you want to make it lower. As long as you kind of figure out what your audience is, test the waters. $40, $50 you're paying for one thing of advertisement that might last a week. You get one person to call from that and you land the house, you made the money back. The way I see it, we just get so much traction from Google as it is that's another thing I want to touch on. We don't really pay for advertising anymore. So if I were you, number one, test out what works best. Put some money out for advertising and see if it works. If it doesn't, switch to something else. Take it with a grain of salt. It works for me, it may not work for you. I would say get a website as soon as you can and get your website linked up to your Google listing, because people find that more professional. And at least one thing I'll kind of add real quick. On our website, if you check it out, it actually is just tjlawnandlandscape.com. We have over the years tried making it much cleaner and easier to allocate, right? Or navigate, navigate. Statistics show that if someone clicks on your website, it is more likely they're only going to view the homepage. If you have all these buttons to click here for this, click here for that, they usually only look at the homepage. So one thing we changed that worked so much better with getting leads is we used to have a button in the top corner that says click here for an estimate. Got rid of that button and moved the thing to get an estimate right on the home page. So you click on our website, it's right there. You want an estimate? Fill this out and send it. That much easier, and we get multiple estimates. My email filled today. In the past hour, I think we've gotten like 5 leads in the past hour just from that.
Wow, that's really good advice. That's actually some good web design, because you do want to have the customer be able to get to you as quickly as possible. And like you said, you don't want them to click around, go to the next page, and so forth. And one of the other things that I'm sure you utilize is, the phone number right at the very top, or somewhere on the, present on the home page, so they can also contact you that way. So yeah, that's really good advice for somebody that's just starting out, and really for anybody that's even experienced, because I still run into some websites that are kind of a little clunky, and you're not real, you want to try to make it pretty and stuff, or people try to make it pretty, but they're not really taking into consideration what the customer needs, right?
It's all about what stands out. Yeah, people kind of, I don't want to say fake it till you make it. That's not what I'm saying at all. But it's the flashy, professional look is what people are looking for. If you look professional, they can, I feel like, trust you more rather than the guy who, maybe has a clunky website, maybe doesn't have a website,
Yeah, absolutely. So now let's dive in a little bit about some other form of advertisement that you did maybe whenever you were first starting out, and maybe you're still doing it, aside from online advertisement, is there anything that you guys did in the past, Money Mailer, Valpak, or some print advertisement, postcards, anything like that?
One thing I actually wanted to try, I'll answer that question in a sec. One thing I wanted to try even now, to kind of, the only reason I would test it is to see how it works, to tell other people, hey, try this out. But again, what works for one person may not work for somebody else. I wanted to try out door hangers. I've never done it in the past. What I have done in the past, to answer your question, was on Vistaprint. I ordered a boatload of business cards, and big no-no now that I know this, I would hand them out in people's mailboxes. I now know that you're not supposed to do that because the mailbox is technically, federal mail, whatever. You're not allowed to just go in and put things in the mailbox. You ever see those cars that might drive around your neighborhood that just throw the newspaper onto your driveway? There's a reason they throw it on your driveway and not put it directly in your mailbox. Apparently, you're not supposed to be putting things in people's mailboxes if you are not a mail person. So sure, if you find one thing that did work is if you find a nice day at the beginning of the summer where everyone's going out maybe doing, spring cleaning or garage sales or something like that, walk around your neighborhood if you live in one, and hand out business cards to people who are standing out doing their own yard work, That's one thing that worked for us when I was starting off. Building from there, I would say, it was a lot of, if we ever did a job for somebody, we started a referral thing. We'd say, hey, if you want to refer us to a neighbor, a family friend, or something like that, as long as they sign up with us and we, do some work for them, this is what we'll do for you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's really good advice. And going back to the mailbox thing, you definitely don't want to put anything in the mailbox. And just for our audience, so they know, you also don't want to attach anything to the outside of the mailbox. That's something that most people are not aware of. That's actually, not your property. That's the United States Postal Service property. So you definitely want to avoid that. But aside from that, man, some really good advice as far as, testing the waters and doing some of the things that you recommended. I really like the business card idea. I think I've got a video up on our channel as well that talks about business card marketing, and it really goes into detail on that and some tips and tricks on how to really make your business card stand out. Moving on to when you first started, I know you were talking about you did the push mowers, and talk to us a little bit about how that's expanded into, different types of equipment, and maybe you can even tell us what are some of your favorite types of equipment, and we can also expand on that and talk a little bit about, you were using 21-inch mowers or what have you, the smaller mowers, and talk to us about what size properties you were doing then, what size properties you're doing now.
So this may be a long answer, but yes, we'll start off that, it was 21-inch push mowers that, most people, maybe 15, 16-year-old range, might even just ask their parents, hey, can I borrow the push mower to do a few neighbors' properties, right? And I'll tell you what, when I was that young, starting off, and I obviously, had no bills to pay, it was very easy to go out and do these properties, save up the money, buy my own mower. The way I saw it is I wanted to buy my own mower as quickly as I could so I didn't have to borrow my parents anymore, right? After that, for obvious reasons, the mower, the weed whacker, and the blower are your main things. I think starting off, I didn't even have a blower, that I would use a broom. Now, the broom does not work, obviously, as well as the blower in time efficiency and what it can cover, in the sense that the broom didn't actually even get everything. The bristles, if it was a rainy day, some of the grass stuck to the sidewalk. So I wanted to expand on that as soon as I can. I bought my own mower. I was still borrowing my parents' weed whacker, and I had a broom. As soon as I had the money, I bought, I think it was a handheld Troy-Bilt, and I still have that to this day in my garage. It works. I've never serviced it once. I think that thing's on its last leg, but it works. But yeah, at least expanding from there. Like I said, when I was 15, 16, was spending any money that I could back into my business, so I knew when I turned 17 and I had my truck, I could, really expand my business. By 17, I had all my own equipment when it came to, I had 2 push mowers. I want to say I had the Honda push mowers that actually they don't make anymore. I was at GIE and I was asking, I was like, I love the Honda push mowers, and they're like, yeah, we discontinued them. I'm like, what? So yeah, when it comes to like a good push mower right now, I'm sorry guys, I don't have an answer for you. But I know Toro makes some nice, bigger, I guess you could say, commercial cutting with residential mowers. Like Toro, I think it's the Time Master or Time Cutter, whichever one. I know one is residential, one's commercial. When it comes to the weed whacker, everybody knows, you can go to Home Depot and buy the Echo SRM 225. It's like $200, and some of the commercial guys even still have them on their trailers today. I just got done telling one of my customers that has one. I said, dang, I mean, we actually sold our 225s to get, now we have the commercial 2620s. I still wish we had a 225 because with the less torque, not only is it easier for new guys to learn on, just some obstacles, I guess you can say, some vinyl fencing, we want to be more careful with. So I'd rather the lighter duty weed whacker. Long story short, if you're looking for a weed whacker, guys, the Echo 225 is going to last you a long time. When it comes to blowers, not dissing steel or anything like that, because I have steel blowers in my trailer. You can go to Home Depot and get, I want to say, what is it, the PB580? That's the residential blower. And I know I said before the whole fake it till you make it thing. Residential homeowners, they see a backpack blower and they think that's commercial. This guy has, nice equipment. They don't need to know that that backpack blower is technically residential. You know what I mean? That's what happened with me starting off. My first backpack blower was a Husqvarna 130 BT. That is the bottom of the line residential backpack blower. But the customers didn't need to know it was residential. They saw it was a backpack blower that was getting the job done in an effective, timely manner, All I can say is, to answer your question, I even told you from the start, I know this was going to be a long answer. Starting off, it doesn't hurt to, build from the push mowers to larger size decks. I think our first mower that we bought after the push mowers was actually a John Deere Z355E from Home Depot. It was a 48-inch residential zero-turn that I had for about a year or two. After that, we switched to, I don't want to say switch, we bought the Cub Cadet 33-inch walk-behind that we use that for backyards. I will tell you to this day, it is an amazing mower. There's a few things, I guess you can say flaws, that after 20, 30 hours, you're going to have some issues with it. But at least it's a very cost-efficient, nice mower to get in backyards if you want to upgrade from your push mower. For obvious reasons, wrapping it up, we sold both those mowers, and now I have a 60-inch Z515E, which I will tell you guys now, that is still a residential mower in John Deere's eyes. But if you go on their website and look at the specs of that mower, it is pretty much the exact same as some commercial mowers that are out right now for about $5,000, when all these commercial mowers are at least 8 to like 12.
Wow.
So always do your research first. Then I obviously bought my Staris, but that's a whole nother story. I'm not too happy with the Staris, but I'll tell you right now, as soon as you can get a stand-on 36 for backyards, it is going to help you tremendously. I hope I answered your question. Sorry, that was a very long answer.
No, that was great. So what size lawns are you doing right now?
I would say 95% of the lawns we do are the average like cookie cutter sized quarter acre lots. And at least in my area, I'm very happy to know that we're not the most inexpensive lawn service around. We're actually charging $50 for a quarter acre. I know that guys around here in the range of 40, 45, we were 45 last year. We went up to 50 and people are saying yes to 50 like crazy. The way I look at it is, I know there are other guys charging 40, but I don't want to be that business that is, the same price as everybody else. The way I see it is, yes, if you want to hire the $40 guy, go right ahead. And I'm not going to diss the $40 guy, but there's a reason we're 50. We pretty much can do every single thing that you ask for on your property, and you're paying for the one guy that can do everything rather than outsourcing and getting somebody for every other thing, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So yeah, while I said yes, our average size property is a quarter acre, we pretty much, all of our properties, we do everything for. We're not just mowing these properties. They call us back for spring cleanups. They call us back for, again, fall cleanups, trimming, mulching, everything.
Well, that's very cool. So now you said you're doing landscaping jobs too, right? Mm-hmm. Right now, right? So
yes.
Tell me, how do you like that as far as the profitability side of it? How do you compare that to the maintenance side, the mowing, the other maintenance type work that we do in this industry? Talk to me about the profitability, and make some comparisons there.
So profitability-wise, I know that since we started really getting into landscaping like last year, 2 years ago was pretty much just lawns. Let's compare it to 2 years ago. Full transparency, guys. 2 years ago, we weren't even making six figures. We were still, on average around maybe the anywhere between 40 to 80,000 for the year in just mowing. And I'm not saying that's bad. If you look at what, an average job nets you, that's not terrible. But the way I saw it is you can do better. So that's why we started offering landscaping. We did the small stuff. We did some installs here and there. We tried to steer away from the bigger jobs and only took on what we can handle. And I realized that got us just shy of six figures in 1 year of starting doing landscaping. So as I said earlier, I was like, yeah, we were lucky if we had one landscape job a month. But those landscape jobs, really, I don't want to say skyrocketed what we were able to do. But yeah, give it, this year, I now, we just did our taxes. Finally, I can say we are now a six-figure business, and I'm very happy about that. And I would say actually well over six figures that this past year was absolutely amazing in the sense that, we were fighting to find the time to get all of our jobs done last year. This year, we're booked out 2 months as it is right now. And I love landscaping. If we're up to me, like I said, we have multiple crews now in the sense that, like with the 2 trucks, we're sending out, I do lawns at the end of the week. We do landscaping at the beginning of the week. With the landscaping, we actually have started doing 1 free install a month. The other 3 weeks out of the month is all profit for obvious reasons. But we want to do at least 1 free install, and it's not a publicity thing. It has nothing to do with getting out a good video and, upgrading our YouTube and stuff like that. It's because I want to. I absolutely love what I do. I love landscaping. I love looking at, I guess you can say, a crappy looking canvas and just cleaning it up and just throwing some stuff in that I think looks good. We talk with the customer. We provide them a render off of, we use the program Real-Time Landscape Architect to show them what the job's going to look like. And then when it's done, they're like, wow, that is exactly what you told us it was going to be, and they love it. So yeah, going back on the free install thing, we just did one last week for a woman who lost her husband last year. Our next one is actually going to be a mom had posted something again on our local Facebook page saying how her daughter has leukemia, and it was very fortunate for them that somebody had paid for their meal or something like that. So I reached out to her and said, hey, we're looking for people that we want to bless for free landscaping. And long story short, she says they're going to be out of town for about 3 weeks. They're trying to make memories with their daughter, blah, blah, blah. It's, it's a sad thing to say, but it makes me happy to know that she trusts us, that we are going to try to get this done before the time they come home and almost make it like an extreme makeover home edition, like the whole move that bus thing when they get home and they're surprised by the beautiful landscaping we're going to do for them. And we have other ones lined up, but, that's just what we've done in the past couple years. We've expanded from just lawns to landscaping, and that's what we're able to do now, that we can provide a free install once a month for people because that's how good the business is doing.
I think that's really cool that you're giving back to the community. That's really commendable, and I love that. So that's something I would probably encourage a lot of other businesses to do. To kind of give back to the community once they're able to. And it sounds like you're definitely, successful enough where you can do that.
Yeah, I mean, I also look at it like this. Success to a lot of people is, the equipment that you have and how much money you're taking in. So if you want to look at it that way, was I successful 6 years ago when I was just push mowing? You could say no, but the way I saw it, success is whenever you're happy with where you're at. That even then I was very happy to know that, starting off, I only had the push mowers in the truck, right? The next year when I had the truck and trailer, then I was finally happy, I'm not trying to knock anybody that's still just in the stages of working out of the bed of their truck. The main thing is, as long as you can sit back at the end of the day and be happy with what you have and what you've accomplished, that's success to me.
Absolutely. So let's talk a little bit about, the landscaping side of the business, right? So you talked about, obviously they're bigger jobs, right? So let's talk about the margins, right? Mm-hmm. Or what's the profitability compared to the lawn maintenance side?
Well, I'll tell you another thing. Like I said before, when it comes to doing $50 lawns, when I know a lot of guys in the area are 40, 45, I'll even tell you, I know there's some guys that go in neighborhoods and quoting 35 because they just want every house in there and they think that, if we knock out all these houses side by side and we can do it in this amount of time, Okay, but you probably could have got them at 40 as well, you know what I mean? But that's besides the point. The profitability from going from lawns to landscaping, as I said before with what we were getting with just lawns, we weren't even netting the 6 figures a year just doing lawns. Now that we're doing the landscaping and we've built a name for ourselves that we have all these jobs, we are doing that. The weekly, I guess you can say, let's talk about weekly and monthly. We try to do at least 1 large install a week, or maybe 2 smaller ones. We're able to, some jobs we can knock out in a day. Because let's say Saturday, Sunday we usually don't work. Sunday we never work. Saturday we usually don't. I try to, if I know we have a job, let's say for Monday, Saturday night I go out and I get all the materials that we need. I load them up in the truck for the guys on Monday morning because most nurseries are closed Sunday. And that is allocated in the job. The time that it takes for me to go there, that is already paid for in the deposit on the job. So, you know what, guys, let's take into consideration, let's say maybe a $10,000 job. We always ask for a 25% deposit. So that is $2,500 that we are able to use that is mainly for the materials and paying my guys. The way a deposit is supposed to be is, God forbid you have an issue where the customer doesn't pay, you didn't lose any money because at least the deposit paid for the material and paying your guys. Sure, you can look at it, you lost time, on the job and that's money, but at least nothing out of pocket. Backtracking a little bit, let's say a $10,000 job that we do in the week. Again, if at the end of the week, I'm trying to, run the numbers in my head.
Sure.
$7,500 at the end of the week. How much is that per day if the job takes 5 days? You're making a little over $1,000 a day. Cool. Let's compare that to just mowing. How many houses in a day do you have to cut to be making that $1,000 a day? Right? Let's look at it this way. When guys are starting off, let's look at maybe like a $30 house. How many $30 houses in a day do you have to cut to make $1,000? In all reality, you're probably not going to be doing that when you're starting off with just push mowing. As we grew our business and we were able to knock out more houses, that's why we started raising our prices. We knew that we could knock out more in a day, but we still weren't making the amount that we wanted a day, is why we moved to landscaping. And yeah, we, on average, I can say in the month, our landscaping is netting us anywhere between $40,000 to $50,000 a month now, when last year we were doing like $20,000 to $30,000 a month. So, and again, I hope I answered your question. I went a little off track with that one, trying to go back and forth. If you guys are subscribed to my YouTube channel, you already know that. I'm a very bouncy guy.
No, you gave a lot of good information there, and I think we can definitely figure out, what the margins are from what you've given us. And we'll continue our conversation with Troy in the next episode.
I hope this information was helpful to you. Please make sure to subscribe, like, and hit the bell button so you're notified of my future videos. See you next time, Lawn Care Pros.